Hello, everyone, and welcome. In this session, we are moving beyond simply discussing English. We are going to fundamentally change the way you produce the language. We will address a core issue that has been overlooked, and by the conclusion of this video, I promise you will look at yourself and declare, "Yes, I can speak now. I finally grasp how to condition my mouth for fluent conversation." Therefore, dedicate your attention until the very end. Consider subscribing to our channel, as this video has the potential to be the most significant turning point in your English journey. Let me pose a straightforward question. How many instructional videos on English have you watched? How many grammatical rules have you committed to memory? How many hours have you spent passively listening? Yet when the moment arrives to speak, your mouth seals shut. Your tongue feels awkward. Your voice vanishes. Your mind goes blank. This is not due to a lack of intelligence, nor is it a reflection of poor English knowledge. It is because your mouth is physically untrained. Yes, this is the crucial truth no one has shared with you. You are not practicing the physical movements required for English speech. You are reading, watching, and listening, but you are neglecting the physical conditioning of your speaking apparatus. This is the reason for the stagnation. This is why you remain stuck. This is why your confidence erupts the moment you attempt to vocalize. Let me state this with absolute clarity. English is not solely a cognitive function. It is a physical act. It involves your lips, your tongue, your jaw, and the smooth flow of sound. Until you train these components, you will always feel that a vital element is missing. But that ends today, because this video will be fundamentally different. This is not a tedious grammar lesson, nor a mere compilation of phrases, nor another instructor telling you to simply repeat after me. This is a process of liberation. We are going to dismantle your fear, awaken your mouth, and construct genuine spoken English fluency, starting from the ground up. And no, perfection is not the goal. You do not need a specific accent. You do not need expensive courses. All that is required is 5 minutes of focused daily effort, the correct methodology, and the willingness to sound like a beginner in order to become a proficient speaker. This is the video I wish I had received years ago. This is the reality your previous teachers may not have emphasized, and this is your opportunity to stop merely studying English and start speaking it as if it were your native tongue. So let us begin. Let us start with a powerful concept, one that might be slightly challenging to accept but will ultimately set you free. Your mouth is not accustomed to the unique movements required for English communication. Consider this deeply. The issue is not your grammar. It is not your vocabulary. It is not your memory. It is the physical mechanics of your mouth. You have been conditioning your brain, but you have neglected the muscles involved in speech. Consequently, when you attempt to speak English, your delivery sounds slow, fragmented, hesitant, or unnatural. This is because English is a physical language. It possesses a distinct rhythm, a unique sound shape, and a specific set of required articulations. The quality of your speech is determined not just by the words you choose, but by the way your mouth produces those words. Let us use a fitness analogy. Imagine consuming 100 books on the technique of push-ups. You understand the form. You know the mechanics. You could explain it perfectly to others. But you have never actually performed a single push-up. What happens when you finally try? You fail because your muscles lack the necessary strength. This is precisely what occurs with spoken English. You know the vocabulary, but your mouth has not been conditioned to move with the speed, smoothness, and confidence required. Your tongue, your lips, your jaw, they are set in the patterns of your native language. They are not prepared to handle the speed, the stress patterns, and the sound linkages of English. When your mouth is physically untrained, regardless of how many lessons you watch or books you read, you will inevitably hesitate when it is time to speak. This is the root cause of the common complaint. I understand everything, but I cannot speak. You are missing the critical element that is rarely discussed. Speaking is not just a mental exercise. It is a muscular one. Now consider the reality. In your native language, you have repeated every sound thousands of times since infancy. This is why your mouth moves with speed and certainty. But in English, you have not conditioned your mouth to produce the subtle sounds, the soft T's, the linking sounds, and the specific intonation patterns. You often skip them, mumble them, or feel awkward attempting them. This results in fragmented speech, which in turn destroys your confidence. But here's the positive news. You possess the ability to change this. You can train your mouth. You can develop speaking muscles, just as you develop physical muscles in a gymnasium. And the best part is that you do not require hours. You do not need to achieve perfection. You do not need to sound exactly like a native speaker. You simply need to engage in the correct practice with focus and unwavering consistency. Let us return to the concept introduced in Section 1, English as a physical language. This idea is so crucial that it bears deeper examination. When you learned your first language, you did not do so by reading grammar books. You learned by mimicking the physical movements of your parents' mouths. You were a linguistic athlete in training. Your tongue, a muscle, was conditioned to hit specific points in your mouth to create sounds. Your lips were trained to round or flatten for different vowels. Your jaw learned a specific degree of openness. English requires a different set of physical gymnastics. For example, the th sound, common in words like think or thee, requires the tongue to be placed between the teeth, a position often unused in other languages. The r sound in English is often retroflex, curling back, unlike the trilled r in many Romance languages. When you try to speak English without this physical conditioning, it is like asking a marathon runner to suddenly perform a ballet routine. The muscles are simply not trained for the specific movement. This is why the 5-minute routine is not a suggestion. It is a necessity. It is your daily physical therapy for English fluency. It is the deliberate act of waking up those dormant muscles and teaching them the new choreography of the English language. This training is what bridges the gap between the vast knowledge you hold in your mind and the hesitant, slow speech that comes out of your mouth. Do not underestimate the power of the physical. The mouth that moves freely is the mouth that speaks fluently. I will make one bold guarantee. If you implement the routine I am about to outline for just 5 minutes every single day for the next 30 days, your English will be transformed. The change will be evident not only in your mind, but in the physical ease of your speech, your confidence levels, your conversations, your professional life, and your life as a whole. We are now going to condition your mouth as a muscle, not as a memory bank. You might think that 5 minutes is insufficient. However, the truth is that the duration of practice is less important than the quality and focus of the practice. Your objective is not to achieve fluency overnight. Your objective is to establish small, repeatable habits that physically retrain your mouth, refine your sounds, and reprogram your speech patterns. You do not need 5 hours. You need 5 minutes of concentrated, physical, daily repetition, much like brushing your teeth. Remember this principle. Reading provides knowledge, but speaking is movement, and movement requires muscle memory. Now, let us examine the precise, step-by-step 5-minute training system. Step 1. Oral warm-up, 60 seconds. Just as you would in a gym, you must prepare your speech muscles. Why? Because your mouth has been operating in the rhythm of your native language for most of the day. You must now transition your lips, tongue, jaw, and breath into English mode. Here is the process. First, lip rolls. Gently vibrate your lips, similar to the sound of an engine. Sustain the sound for 5 seconds, repeating 3 times. Second, tongue stretch. Extend your tongue fully out of your mouth and then retract it. Perform this slowly 10 times. Third, jaw loosening. Open and close your mouth wide, gently, repeating 5 times to release any stiffness. Fourth, smile stretch. Stretch your smile as wide as possible, as if laughing. Hold for 5 seconds. Relax. Repeat twice. Why this works? It releases tension, activates muscles you rarely use, and makes your English sound smoother and more natural. Perfection is not the goal. Movement is. A warm mouth is a mouth prepared to speak. Step 2. The mirror technique. 60 seconds. This is your most powerful secret weapon. The mirror serves as your personal coach, your feedback mechanism, and your confidence builder. Here is the process. Stand directly in front of a mirror. Look yourself directly in the eyes. Select a simple, positive English affirmation, such as, I am developing confident speech. This is my voice, and I own it. English is becoming second nature to me. Speak the sentence slowly. Concentrate on the movement of your lips, jaw, and tongue, and maintain eye contact with your reflection. Do not rush. Observe yourself. Internalize the sound. Repeat the sentence 5 times, increasing the speed slightly with each repetition. Why this works? It builds awareness of your visual and auditory presence. It eliminates the fear of external judgment. It develops your speaking presence and clarity. It empowers you to take control of your voice. It may feel awkward initially, but after a few days, it will begin to feel natural. After 10 days, you will feel a sense of empowerment. Remember, you cannot build speaking confidence if you refuse to confront your own image. Step 3. Shadow speaking. 120 seconds. This is where the true fluency conditioning takes place. Shadow speaking involves listening to a sentence and immediately repeating it aloud, making every effort to match the original speaker's speed, tone, rhythm, and emotional delivery. Here is the process. Select a very short audio clip, perhaps 5 to 10 seconds long. This could be from a YouTube video, a film dialogue, a TED Talk segment, or even your own previous recording. For example, if you hear, "I don't think that's a good idea," you must repeat the exact same rhythm, speed, and tone. You are not repeating your own version, nor are you speaking slowly. You are precisely matching the original. Repeat this segment over and over. Even if you make errors, continue the process. This is not a test of grammar. It is muscle conditioning. Why this works? It develops real-time speaking reaction. It builds the rhythm necessary for fluency. It trains your ears, mouth, and brain to work in synchronization. It helps your speech sound smoother and more natural. This is the natural learning process for infants. They hear, they imitate, they repeat, and they achieve fluency. Now, let us elaborate on the specifics of shadow speaking from Section 2. This technique is often misunderstood as simple repetition. It is far more profound. Shadowing is an immersive, total body experience. You are not just repeating words. You are attempting to become the speaker for those few seconds. You are matching their pitch, their volume, their emotional intensity, and most importantly, their rhythm. The rhythm of English is its heartbeat. If you miss the rhythm, you miss the fluency. The English language uses stress and intonation to convey meaning, a characteristic that is often absent in syllable-timed languages. When you shadow, you are forcing your mouth to adopt this new rhythm. You are training your ear to hear the music and your mouth to play the notes correctly. Think of it as learning to dance. You watch the professional dancer and you try to replicate the exact movement, the exact timing, the exact flow. It feels awkward at first, like your body is moving in ways it shouldn't. But with repetition, the movement becomes second nature. The same principle applies here. When you shadow, you are not concerned with the meaning of every word. You are concerned with the sound of the entire phrase. This bypasses the analytical part of your brain, the part that is busy translating and overthinking, and goes straight to the muscle memory. Choose your shadowing material wisely. It should be engaging, clear, and slightly challenging. A short, powerful clip from a movie or a speech is perfect. Play it, pause it, repeat it immediately, and then play it again, trying to speak simultaneously with the original speaker. This simultaneous speaking, or true shadowing, is the most advanced form of the drill and the fastest way to internalize the flow of the language. Step 4. The fluency loop. 60 seconds. Now we conclude with a powerful final exercise. This is the fluency loop drill, a rapid repetition system that conditions you to articulate the same sentence at 3 distinct speeds: slow, normal, and fast. Here is the process. Take a sentence such as, "I am going to master my English." Slow, "I am going to master my English." Concentrate on articulating every sound with precision. Normal, "I'm going to master my English." Smooth and consistent. Fast, I'm gonna master my English. Linked, confident, and natural. Now, repeat the entire loop 3 times. Select 3 to 5 such sentences daily. Do not change them frequently. Repeat them for several days until your mouth becomes completely comfortable with them. This is how your brain signals, "This is easy now, we can proceed." Why this works. It builds comfort with increased speaking speed. It helps eliminate overthinking. It gives you the feeling of fluency, even if your current vocabulary is limited. The total routine: warm up, 1 minute, lip rolls, tongue stretch, jaw loosen, smile stretch. Mirror technique: 1 minute, say one sentence 5 times. Shadow speaking: 2 minutes, copy 2 to 3 real sentences from native speakers. Fluency. Loop 1 minute. Practice the same sentence at slow, normal, and fast speeds. Total time, 5 minutes. Total impact, life-changing. Most learners ignore this crucial step. They pursue grammar books. They download vocabulary applications. They silently consume English media. But they never physically train their mouth. And this is why they remain stuck. But you are different. You now possess a structured system. You have a practice routine. You have a daily English gymnasium in your own space. And the best part is that you do not require a partner. You do not need a perfect accent. You simply require your voice, your focus, and 5 minutes of genuine practice. Because once your mouth achieves fluency, your English proficiency will inevitably follow. Let me begin this section with an honest assessment. Most learners do not sound fluent, even when their grammar is impeccable. Why? Because their speech is robotic. They articulate every single word distinctly. They separate each sound. They speak English using the rhythm of their native language, one word at a time, flat, slow, and mechanical. However, native English speakers employ a technique that sounds almost magical. They communicate in clusters. They do not speak individual words. They speak in groups of sounds that flow together like a musical composition. This phenomenon is known as sound clustering, word linking, natural flow, rhythm, or speech music. Once you learn to speak in this manner, even minor grammatical errors will not detract from your overall impression of fluency, naturalness, and confidence. Most English learners are taught to speak like this. I am going to the market. But native speakers rarely articulate it this way. They say, I'm going to the market. They connect the words. They eliminate unnecessary sounds. They blend syllables. They speak in units of flow, not word by word. It is analogous to music. You do not play one note, pause, then play another note, pause. You play in phrases. You create a continuous melody. You make the sound smooth and natural. This is the essence of spoken English. From this moment forward, I want you to stop thinking, which word should I use? And start thinking, how can I articulate this in one seamless unit? This is the true starting point of fluency. It resides not in your vocabulary list, but in your sound flow. A sound cluster is a sequence of 3 to 6 words that you pronounce together without any break, stop, or pause. Let us examine a few common examples. What are you doing? A learner might say this slowly and distinctly. However, a native speaker will often blend it into, what you doing? The phrase what are becomes whatcha, and doing becomes doin'. The final version is a smooth cluster. Practice this now. 5 times in a single breath. Did you eat? Most learners separate these words. Native speakers often say, Didja eat? The words did you are condensed into didja. This is the sound of natural spoken English. I have to go. A learner might say, I have to go. A native speaker often says, I have to go. The phrase have to is reduced to hafta. This is the key to speed and naturalness. Why this is essential? This practice trains your mouth to anticipate the next sound, not the next word. It forces you to adopt the English rhythm, which is stress-timed, meaning some words are elongated while others are rapidly compressed. This is the sound of fluency. The drill. Select 5 short, common phrases. Practice saying them as a single sound cluster, blending the words together. Record yourself. Compare your recording to a native speaker's pronunciation. Repeat until the cluster feels physically effortless. This is the secret to sounding not just correct, but truly fluent. Let us dedicate more focus to sound clusters and word linking from Section 3, as this is the key to achieving a native-like sound. The transition from speaking word by word to speaking in clusters is the single biggest leap a learner can make towards sounding fluent. Consider the common phrase, "I want to go." Spoken by a learner, it is often 4 distinct words. Spoken by a native, it is often compressed to, "I want to go." The words "want to" are not just shortened, they are physically linked and transformed into a single sound unit, wanna. This linking happens everywhere in spoken English. For example, a word ending in a consonant sound often links to the next word starting with a vowel sound. Instead of pick up, it becomes pike up. Instead of an apple, it becomes an apple. This is not laziness, it is efficiency. Your mouth is seeking the path of least resistance, and by linking the sounds, it makes the speech faster and smoother. When you speak word by word, you are creating tiny, unnecessary pauses between every single word, which forces the listener's brain to work harder to piece the sentence together. When you speak in clusters, you are delivering the sentence as a single, coherent package, making it effortless for the listener to understand. This is why someone with a limited vocabulary but excellent flow can sound more fluent than someone with a massive vocabulary but a choppy delivery. The drill for linking. Take a simple sentence and physically draw lines between the words that link. For example, in "What is the time?" I draw a line from T in what to I in is, making it sound like what is. Practice saying the linked version 10 times quickly. Then, find 3 more examples of consonant to vowel linking in your daily reading and practice those. By focusing on these small physical transitions, you are training your mouth to adopt the natural efficiency of the English language. This is the difference between simply knowing the words and owning the flow. The final, crucial element of this transformation is the understanding of deep repetition. The reason you speak your native language without conscious thought is due to the sheer volume of repetition from childhood. You did not memorize your language. You embodied it through constant physical repetition. To achieve fluency in English, you must replicate this process. You must move the language from your intellectual memory, the part that knows the rules, to your muscle memory, the part that just speaks. This requires repetition that is deep, focused, and physical. Do not just repeat a word once. Repeat it 20 times. Do not just practice a sentence once. Practice it until your mouth is tired. This is the difference between knowing a word and owning it. The repetition rule. When you learn a new word or phrase, use it immediately in 3 different sentences. Say each sentence aloud 5 times. Then, incorporate that sentence into your shadow speaking and fluency loop drills for the next 3 days. This intentional, multi-layered repetition engraves the language onto your neural pathways and your speech muscles. The end of overthinking. Repetition is the antidote to overthinking. When you have practiced a sound cluster or a sentence thousands of times, your mouth will produce it automatically. There is no time for your brain to freeze, no time for the fear to set in. The action is automatic. This is the state of true fluency. You are not translating. You are simply speaking. The final challenge. Commit to this 5-minute routine every day. Do not skip a day. Consistency, not intensity, is the master key. 5 minutes of focused physical practice is infinitely more valuable than 2 hours of passive listening. This is your personal English gym. Use it to build the speaking muscles you never knew you needed. The world is waiting to hear your voice. Do not let an untrained mouth hold you back any longer. Start today. Start now. Your journey to unstoppable English fluency begins in the next 5 minutes. Let us now focus on the psychological transformation that accompanies this physical training. The act of speaking English, especially in front of others, is fundamentally an act of vulnerability. Your fear is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you care deeply about how you are perceived. The reason the mouth training routine is so effective is that it systematically dismantles this fear by building an unshakable foundation of physical competence. When your mouth knows what to do, your mind is freed from the burden of self-doubt. The mirror technique in particular is a powerful tool for self-acceptance. By looking into your own eyes and affirming your commitment, you are not just practicing English, you are practicing self-confidence. You are teaching yourself that your voice, regardless of its current imperfections, is worthy of being heard. This is a crucial step in the journey to fluency. Fluency is not just about the words you say, it is about the courage with which you say them. The moment you embrace the awkwardness, the moment you allow yourself to sound like a beginner, is the moment you unlock your potential for mastery. Let us conclude by reinforcing the concept of automatization. This is the ultimate goal of your 5-minute daily routine. Automatization is the process of moving language from your slow, analytical brain to your fast, reflexive muscle memory. Think of a professional athlete. They do not think about how to run or how to jump. The movements are automatic, ingrained through thousands of hours of repetition. For you, the English speaker, this means reaching a point where you do not translate from your native language. You do not think about the grammar of the sentence, and you do not fear the physical act of speaking. The words simply flow. The only way to achieve this state is through the focused physical training we have discussed. The 5-minute routine is your daily dose of automatization. It is the deliberate practice that makes the difficult easy and the easy automatic. Embrace the repetition. It is not boring. It is the path to freedom. Every time you repeat a sound cluster, every time you shadow a phrase, you are carving a deeper, faster path in your brain and your mouth. You are building the muscle memory of fluency. This is the secret to speaking English without thinking. This is the secret to becoming unstoppable. Thank you for your attention, and I look forward to seeing your transformation.